Welcome once again back to the lab. It is your old Professor Pilk, and we got to talk about this Infernape raid. But before we do, guys, we are literally, as of recording this, 12 subscribers away from 1,000. Help me get there. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. That's enough grifting. Let's get into this, shall we? So, I've been trying to basically recycle other Mon that we have used over time. And of course, Iron Valiant's one we've used in the past. I have changed this up a little bit because I do have her with a Stellar Terra. Now, and you can't really see it behind me because my stupid head's in the way. But, emphasis on the stupid. It's why I'm the professor, not the actual Pokemon trainer. But nevertheless, we got a Shell Bell, as always. And that's just basically to help get some healing out. Now, they only really have one ability, so ability is not really that big of a deal. When it comes to her actual EV training, I've actually gone defense and speed in this situation because you're going to be dealing with a lot more of the physical defense with this build. You do have a chance to get burned, and I do have a way around that. It's not really that big of a deal, but it's only a 10% chance, so odds are pretty low that it's going to happen. Now, make sure that you are hyper-trained, that basically everything is at max stats, as always. I don't generally mention that, but you do want to make sure that that is the case. Now, moveset-wise, I've done something a little weird here. So I have, let's go ahead and just take a look at these real quick. My first move is Spirit Break. Now, the main reason for that is because her special defense is a little bit lower. She resists most of it, but just to make sure we aren't getting hit with too much of that, I do have Spirit Break out there. Basically, I'm going to open up with Spirit Break and kind of lower the special attack enough that it's really not that big of a deal. He does a nasty plot pretty early, and I just want to avoid taking excess damage on that side. Unfortunately, that does mean he's going to use Flare Blitz, basically his main DPS, but that's why we have Reflect. Cut that damage in two, and you should be just fine. Once we're terastallized, we're basically going to stick with Drain Punch, and then we're going to buff with Swords Dance. Drain Punch is going to be our main attack once we're terra'd, and that will essentially just let us not only do an immense amount of damage, but also heal quite a bit. Now, I hear you asking why not a Power 80 move, and then Power 75 move is enough, and it isn't 100%. It is 100% accuracy. Plus, it does a little bit of extra healing above and beyond. It still is going to be just fine. Get 3 Swords Dances off. Trust me, the 5 missing power from this isn't going to be a problem. There are other moves you could do, but in my opinion, I think this is kind of the best bet, sort of. There are other builds out there. There's going to be some special attacking builds you could do here. This is just the build I kind of went with, but either way, Iron Valiant's a great one for this. And the main reason for the Stellar Terra is because she's going to resist most of what he's throwing at you. I think the Fire move is about the only move that isn't resisted, so we kind of know what we're dealing with. That's basically going to be the main thing he's throwing at us. So let's go ahead and jump in the fight, and we'll walk you through this. Alright, so as we hop into this raid, Staraptor. Alright, I really don't want to run this with anybody with Intimidate, but we don't really have a choice. Belly Bolt would be much better, but sometimes you don't get to pick, so I'm going to open up with Reflect and essentially cut down the damage from his physical attacks. Do remember that his special attacks are going to be more effective on me. Even though I do resist them for the most part. But also, since he has Intimidate, it is kind of problematic. I'm glad he did that before I did Drain Punch. By and by, guys, my Drain Punch was at 10 PP. You really want to PP up that to 16. Otherwise, you could run into some problems, but I kind of feel like that probably went without saying, but I feel like maybe I did need to say it. I don't know. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and do a Spirit Break. I'm basically going to use Spirit Break for 2 things. Number 1, I want to build up my Terror Orb charge. Number 2, later on in the battle, after he nasty plots, we're going to do that a little bit to keep his special attack at bay. Are you going to use a Terra Blast? Oh, well, honestly, the Intimidate probably, yeah. All right. So he nullified stats, so it's a good time to start buffing. So on this turn, let's not leave. I'm going to start doing Swords Dance. Believe me, early Swords Dances can save you a headache. You still want to be able to terastallize pretty... Really, bro? Really? Alright, situations like this. Call for a Drain Punch. Good bit of healing out of that. I just don't want to use it too often in the early game because I want to keep my Drain Punches for when I actually need them. All right. So he's going to go ahead and do a Nasty Plot, and essentially, for the next few turns, we are going to be dealing with special attacks. We're going to try to knock that down, though. So I only got, I think, the one. Yeah, I only got the one Swords Dance out. I'm going to do one more here real quick while I still can. I'm not going to Terra quite yet because I'm not 100% certain that I'm not going to get knocked out here. With the Intimidate in play and with his unfettered it's a tough call. You know what? Let's do this. Let's go ahead and do an early Drain Punch here. We've got double Swords Dance. Let's see what kind of healing we get out of this. Downside is his attacks are going to hurt. The other nice part about Belly Bolt, if I'd had Belly Bolt here, Belly Bolt puts up Light Screen. He really does. Remember what I said at the beginning when I build these Mon? I build this Mon basically to be physically defensive. Light Screen would be mega handy here, but I don't have it in me. So if you could run this with Belly Bolt, you'll be in a much better state. But the good news is I've got two Swords Dances out, and we can use our Fairy attack to start knocking that attack down, or that special attack down. So let's do a Spirit Break. Unfortunately, it's not going to get us a lot of healing. It's not going to do a ton of damage, but it's basically just a move that's going to let us basically take less damage over time. All right, another Terra Blast. Okay. I'm going to have to do a Drain Punch here. There we go. With two Swords Dances out, Drain Punch is going to do a phenomenal amount of damage. And then basically I can come in and do a Spirit Break and just get back to the point at which we're dealing with physical attacks. Since that is basically what we built our Mon for. Oh, okay. So, you know, we're in a happy place now. Let's leave it like that. I'm going to go ahead and do a Swords Dance one more time. And I'm not going to mess with lowering his special attack anymore unless I absolutely have to. Because, frankly, if I go any further down, we're kind of go back the other direction. So let's go ahead and Drain Punch. Now, when his health gets low enough, he will do a Swords Dance himself. And by that point, we just put up a Reflect and we should be okay. Plus, we do have Intimidate in play, which, you know, is a thing. Let's do another Drain Punch. Now, I did put EVs in speed rather than attack, but that was for an older event. Probably if I had EVs and attack here, I might be better off with the healing and all that, because I don't think this Mon is faster than us, even without EVs there. So, oh no, I didn't want to do that. I want to do bugger. All right. That is what it is. That is what it is. I overclicked. Now, I see you guys start looking at this going, you're not doing a ton of damage. Number one, like I said, EVs and attack would have probably improved the amount of damage I'm taking. But, oh, there's that Swords Dance. Okay. So let's go ahead and put a Reflect up. Kind of reduce that incoming damage. Yeah, not a big deal. And we'll continue Drain Punching. We had 9 Drain Punches left. More than enough to wipe this out. I think we're, what, 3, maybe 4 away from breaking the barrier. And after that, it was like 2 and he'll be done. So, nah, he's done. The fight is over. He just hasn't realized it yet. No. Fingers. Bad. And I did have a wasted move early on. It's all good. Not a big deal. A little bit of patience. I do have a couple other builds in mind that are actually even better than this. So do stay tuned for that. Per usual, we're going to do the 5 other mon that you could build, including the one amazing legendary build I think is awesome. I have a pseudo that I actually was going to use tonight for this. But because the pseudo does require you have the expansion packs, I like to stick with mon you can get out of the core game. Even if it is like, you know, Violet exclusive, Iron Valiant's one that most players are going to have access to. Bro, are you okay there? My guy just had wicked gas. There we go. And the other half of this is Intimidate really messed me up. I'd do so much just extra work because of the Intimidate. So, without Intimidate, this would have been probably 2, maybe 3 turns faster. Also, he's a crit machine for some reason. I tend to have that problem. I don't know if it's just me, but Terror Raids, for me, I always get hit with critical hits just for no reason. Like, moves that have normal crit rates seem to just crit all the time. But here we go, Drain Punch, and we're done. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward, just a little time consuming, just because I don't have a move that lowers his defense built in, but, you know, if you want to build that in, go for it. My one recommendation is don't run this with an Intimidate mon, run this with Belly Bolt, and it'll be significantly easier. What am I going to catch him in? I've done enough of the Fire mon in a... Oh, Moonball makes no sense. Let's do a Moonball. Why not? Why the heck not? I like to put him in balls that make no sense. Don't ask me why. I'm weird. Alright, that is going to be Infernape. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below as always. And I'll be back coming up soon with those 5 other mon, some that are probably even better than this. Later on this weekend. Stay tuned and subscribe.